Yeah, let's talk episode 7 real quick, and this one.
Back to the slowdown. Here we go.
This is the one episode where I got to the end of the episode, and I looked back, and I went, nothing happened in that episode. Like
Not well,
nothing of significance
right.
happened to push
Nothing,
the story forwards
right.
at
Nothing
all.
happened that we didn't already know was going to happen.
Yes, exactly.
So obviously we knew Ahsoka was getting there. Obviously we knew Ahsoka was going to meet up with him. But that's literally it. That's
Nothing
all that
else
happened.
happened.
Nothing else
All
significant
Thrawn
happened.
did the entire episode was, we're still waiting to load our cargo so we can leave. So let's distract them for a while. That's what he was doing at the end of the last episode. So it's like,
I mean, not to say he's wrong in doing that, but like,
well,
dead
and most
gun.
of the decisions he makes, like when I thought about it, I was like, okay, it makes sense. Like he's still Thrawn in the essence of the
Right.
character. But I think it's
It's
just
not
like
that. It's not that. Like,
very
obviously,
anticlimactic to me.
yes. Well, he pulls back, like he pulls back his remaining stormtroopers when he realizes that Baylon's not there. I mean, hey, you got it. Basically,
Well,
two full
limited
Jedi,
yeah.
two full Jedi, and a trainee versus
A
apprentice,
Mandalorian. Yeah.
a Mandalorian, and
Yeah.
who he's fought against before. Keep in mind, he's fought against all three of these people, and he's got Shin, who he already doesn't trust, and a not full strength two flights of stormtroopers. Yeah, I think I'm pulling back. I mean, so I'm not saying he's wrong. It's just kind of, yeah.
Well, it was interesting because like you had Baylon and Shin parted ways. You could tell she was more focused on Sabine and stopping them, gaining
Right.
power, whereas
But something's
Baylon's
going on with Baylon.
he's being drawn to something, and I think we're going to learn about that in the finale. But
We better.
yeah,
We better.
I think it'd be kind of pointless and sort of a
Right.
letdown. But
Well, and I think obviously, well, after episode 7, we know which way Shin's going to end up going. I think she's going to try to run back to Thrawn, and all of them in there. Basically, she's just going to get told to go away, pretty much.
she'll get left behind, I'm sure.
Right, and then she'll have no choice. So we'll see. I do think that.
Was it you that threw the potential love interest for Ezra at me?
Yeah.
Yeah, you thought.
And I say that because we're calling it Heir to the Empire. In Heir to the Empire, Luke had a love interest. So if we're paralleling that story, Ezra would take place here, Luke. Not saying he should, but that seems to be what's going to happen.
Trajectory of the TV shows is what you're saying.
Right. So Mara Jade was a bounty hunter / pirate, whatever you want to call her, turned and, fell in love with Luke and all that. So you could see that with Shin, I guess. She's kind of, again, another character that's kind of wooden. Just seems her depth comes from Baylon.
Yeah.
Like her depth standalone is not there. Like she just chases power. Well, okay, why? Just because Baylon told you to?
Well, it's interesting because it's clear he's taught her different from the Jedi, but also simultaneously different from the Sith. Because
Right.
most masters, Sith-wise, like in the Rule of Two, what inevitably happened every time is that the apprentice killed the master.
Right.
Or if the apprentice wasn't strong enough to kill the master killed the apprentice and then got a new apprentice. And so
she seems totally incapable of that. Like Baylon leaves and she seems like.
Well, I think he's just taught her. You can tell when he asks her to leave, there's like no emotional attachment, which is what a Jedi is supposed to be. There's not supposed to be attachments. And so he lets her go and he just kind of is like, okay, now I'm going to do this thing. And I liked that aspect about it because I'm like, in some ways, he's training her to be a truer Jedi than
in that sense of the word.
Yes, not in the peacekeepers sense of the word. Yeah.
Which I think goes back to his comment in episode 6. She asked him if he misses the Jedi Order. He misses the idea of it.
What it should have been, yes.
Right, but not the reality, not the weakness of it. So, but we can speculate if you want about what's calling Baylon. I mean, it'll be something off the wall. I have a feeling like all these theories are going to be moot. But I've heard the son from the Mortis arc could be calling him to just truly, I guess, maybe, because obviously we talked about, we talked about the Night Sister mothers running from something. So obviously they're scared of it, and it's calling Baylon. So what is that? I mean, it could be anything, I guess.
Do you think, just to throw a question at you, do you think it could be, if we're talking about, we know this is where the galaxy where, I think I know that the Night Sisters are from there, but doesn't Baylon say something along the lines of that's where the first Jedi originated from as well, or the concept of it? I think he mentioned something like that in one of the episodes.
He says that, the Force kind of, it goes to the light side and then it goes to the dark side, and it goes to the light side and it goes to the dark side. It goes to the light side. It goes up and down, back and forth. And he's saying he wanted to come to the beginning with.
Yeah, he says he feels that wherever the beginning was somewhere there. And right. That makes sense if that's the inception of the Night Sisters. You could say, okay, maybe the light, the dark, and then whatever the Night Sisters are, which could argue is dark, all split off from this point. This is the jumping off point for the different factions of the Force. And so maybe what he's going to discover is the first true, because we know in like Rebels, Clone Wars, the original trilogy, the prequels, where there are certain places that are strong in the Force,
right,
and more than others. Like Dagobah is like that in
right.
Empire Strikes Back, where it's strong with the dark side of the Force, but that's in a way why Yoda went there, because he knew he could mask himself from the dark side if he was hiding where the dark side was strong, because they're like, he'd never go somewhere like that. And so I think maybe you could be looking at the first place where they discovered a place where the Force was really powerful. Maybe it was the first instance of that. Maybe that's what he's going to find, or maybe he's going to find a way.
I think he's going to find something that they're running from. I don't know what it is. I've seen supposedly there's a chaos personified in the Star Wars universe already. I can't remember the name. Can't think of the name, but
I haven't heard anything about that. But
it may not be chaos. It may be death personified. Maybe I can't remember.
While you're looking that up, and I think maybe it could be the first entry point to the world between worlds. It could be any number of things, which I don't think that really makes sense in the terms of like the Night Sisters are running from something. That doesn't really make sense for them to be running from that, but.
Right. So Abeloth, I think, is the name of the it's like the Bendu is also another one.
Yeah. Which he's not really, he's sort of the one between, he's the one that he's not for the light or the dark. He just is.
Right. He just is. So Abeloth is the kind of like the queen of the stars per se, but she's known as the bringer of chaos. So, but she was a Force entity.
Maybe like the brother and the sister were, in a sense.
Right. So in the old canon, her dark side powers and immortality derived from her being corrupted by drinking from the fount of power and bathing in the pool of knowledge.
That's like deep cut stuff then.
Yeah, that's old. That's not canon now. But I think there was maybe a comic or a book.
I'm sure there were comics about it. That may have been in some of the Dawn of the
Jedi
stuff.
I think Luke had to fight her. Anyway, that could be a thing. That could be a way to get her in this story. I don't know. We'll see. I don't. Like I said, my theory is that all the theories are wrong, and it's it's something new. Or
if we learn anything from Marok, it's like he's not what any of y'all think he is. He's just a freaking
right. It's just a Night Sister zombie
meat suit full of green smoke.
Which again, going back to the stormtroopers, the only thing mentioned that makes me think that they may not be dead. Like they shot some of them and lightsabered some of them, and they didn't do the green smoke thing.
Well, I thought there was one shot in that fight, that little fighting battle at the end of episode 7, where it's either Sabine. I think Sabine shoots one of them, and it's in like the very top corner of the screen. And I thought I saw a little puff of green smoke. But
it could be. I didn't know.
When they kill other ones, like you don't see anything at all. So
right. So I don't know. We'll see. I have a theory that, like you said, I think maybe some of them are alive, but I don't think they would go out of the way to call them Night Troopers if they're alive and just stormtroopers.
Well, the majority of them.
I could be wrong.
Yeah,
but I could be wrong. So
yeah.
But we'll see. I think I guess we can go into predictions.
Yeah, sure.
I think
Get some at me.
I think that Thrawn gets away. Maybe, I don't know. I think somebody's going to end up dying. Don't know who it is. May even be somebody. Probably not. I don't think it would be Ezra. Maybe Sabine. She would deserve it if she did. I don't think it would be Shin. Baylon, I think, is almost a given. Maybe
he's either going to die or he's going to be basically become one with the Force somehow, like on his own accord.
Or maybe, yeah, we'll see. But then I think Thrawn gets away. I think all the others are left there, and they got to kind of find their way back.
So,
not sure if they're going to show it, but I think that Hera talks, whether it be Leia or somebody, into going and at least 2 or 3 ships hanging out at the planet they left from. And when they get back, Thrawn decimates them. Because I think you almost have to have that. Not, obviously you don't have to, but I think it would be really good for the movie to show how much of a threat Thrawn actually is to the New Republic.
I think problem with that is right now is that obviously his Star Destroyer is in pretty bad shape, and like he has basically no troops to fight with. So my prediction is that he does make it back, but it is going to appear to the good guys as if he doesn't. And so basically
he's still kind of like a shadow somewhere.
I think there's a good chance, because in the original Thrawn trilogy, the reason he becomes such a big threat is because he amasses all of his forces basically in secret. And so
which we know from stealth Mandalorian season 3 that there's plenty of Imperial forces still hanging around.
Yes.
They're just kind of all separated.
Well, he has to kind of pull them all out of hiding in the books, and so get them all.
I think he'll do that.
He's a formidable threat to the Republic, and I think unfortunately, and they did this in Mando season 3. Unfortunately, they're portraying the New Republic as being incompetent, and that's not how they're supposed to. And I think I said this in an earlier video, but it's like and I'm not saying everything has to follow the original Thrawn trilogy. I understand it's going to be different, but I'm saying if the explanation they give in there is better and it could have easily been adapted, why not just do like they do in the books? And the reason that the New Republic is so vulnerable to Thrawn's attack is because they're a fledgling republic. They're still learning how to govern all these star systems. and form a government. They're still trying to, they have infighting in their council because people can't decide on which way they want to do things.
Well, the infighting in the council's there.
They're distracted by the duties of raising a new governing body. And so, and getting all these other systems who've been under imperial rule to buy into it and understand that this democracy's a good thing. And so that's why Thrawn, while they're dealing with all these disputes and stuff internally, that's why Thrawn's moving around the outskirts of everything and forming his forces. And then there's rumors of these attacks, but nobody knows who it is. And then he makes his sort of grand appearance, I think at the end of the first book or something, where he has this big attack or assault on a specific place, and it causes them to like have to take him seriously, and it becomes a full-out war at that point. So I think what would be good to do is have it appear like maybe they go back, because I think everything that's going to happen is going to happen on Peridia. I think they will go back at the very end of the episode, but I think more than likely he's going to attach his Star Destroyer to the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Ahsoka and them are going to find a way to damage the ring. He's going to get launched into space and basically be lost somewhere on the star path because his ring is damaged. And they're going to think he died because it exploded, or, he's lost in the abyss. And either that, or they're like, well, he's gone, but he's not dead, so we still have to be on the lookout for him, or something like that. I think is more likely, and I think it's entirely likely that everybody makes it back, minus maybe one death.
Baylon,
yeah.
I think is a give. Like I said, Baylon is a given. I think.
If you ask me which death would be the most fitting, I would say Sabine would be, because she's going to pay the price for her choices, and she's going to sacrifice herself.
Yeah, but I don't think that's likely.
No, probably not.
If Sabine does die, I just think that opens the door for more of a Shin and Ezra romance there, because I think from the beginning of Rebels, Ezra was kind of interested in Sabine, I guess, but back then they were kind of.
They hint at it early on in the show, but they don't ever. They always play it out through the show. They play it out as a brother-sister relationship.
Right.
And so I think there's one season where maybe he has a crush on her or something, but she never entertains it. And so it's like.
Yeah, she's a good bit older than him, though, and been through a whole lot more than he had been. So. Yeah. Anyway, that's another.
I think also with Sabine, like her storyline's basically played out at this point. There's nothing else to do with that character.
I think so. For
Ezra,
this show,
there's
anyway.
still a lot Ezra could do. I mean, he could go join up with Luke. He could train under Ahsoka. There's a lot of things he could do. I think what's going to happen
at this point, is he considered a Jedi Knight?
Maybe a knight, but not.
Yeah, not a master, just a knight.
Yeah.
Like maybe doesn't need a master, just go train and be around. You know what I mean?
Which Baylon calls him a wildling Jedi, which is one that was trained outside the temple.
What did he call it? He called it
wildling.
It meant wild, but it was like he was trained Boken. Was that it was? Boken Jedi?
Yeah.
Trained in the wild.
Yeah.
I mean.
But I think
he's right.
Either Ahsoka is going to end up training Ezra, Ahsoka is going to end up training Jason, or Ezra is going to end up training Jason.
Yeah, they got to do something with Jason.
But
I think it would be more fitting for Ezra to train Jason.
Probably. But
I think that's probably what
I think that story wise makes the most sense because of his connection to Kanan. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. What I think will happen, Ahsoka will live 100%. I could see him killing Ezra still, but I doubt it.
If he did, it would be like, whoa.
I think Sabine will die or live. And I think
Shin will live.
I could see Shin dying because she turns to the good side, and she's like, "I'm gonna undo all this stuff that I've helped to instigate." So she's probably the one on my list that I'd say is the most likely to die, other than Baylon.
I think Baylon's a given.
But if you gave me one character that I choose of the good guys that will die, if I had to guess, I'd say it'll be Sabine.
I think so.
So
if I had to choose one, if any of them die,
yes, that's what I'm saying.
I guess we'll find out tomorrow. Not this time tomorrow.
Yep. But yeah, that's where we're at. Thrawn is still loading up cargo on his ship. We're still waiting. That's him saying, "Hey, I need to make this last till the finale." That's what he's saying.
Yeah, that's all that is. Yes.
And then our heroes are all reunited with each other. Baylon's gone off to do his thing. Shin is kind of in the wind. We don't really know what she's doing, and that's kind of where we're at with going into the finale. So it should be interesting to see how it goes.
I'm excited. Was excited to see where episode 7 could have gone, but I decided to slow it down, which is fine. Again, I don't think we're going to get satisfactory answers to a lot of things in episode 8.
No.
Because I think they're saving a lot of it for the movie, which is fine, which will make me want to go see the movie as much as
yeah, we'll see how it ends.
Every movie since Rogue One has been a disappointment, I know.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah,
if it ends,
I just don't see how there's any way to do an Heir to the Empire movie without Han, Luke, and Leia. I just don't see.
They still can. Leia, I love to see 3PO insert in episode 6. Throwing Leia's name out there. They're still around. Obviously, didn't talk about this enough, probably episode 7. As soon as Thrawn found out whose apprentice Ahsoka was, he was scared. I think it's because he was scared of Luke. Just throwing it out there. I think Thrawn is more up on galactic events than we think. And he knows.
I think if they're going based off of canon, you go off of the Alliance's book where he had that mission he did with Darth Vader.
Yes.
And
I think he knew.
Anakin. Yeah.
Right. He knew Anakin was Darth Vader. But I think he was up on galactic politics or galactic events enough to know that Luke was Anakin's son, and Ahsoka was trained by Anakin, so he is automatically. I think he automatically assumes a connection between Luke and Ahsoka.
I think it's more of an Anakin Ahsoka thing, but I can understand where you would.
I just think because he knows Darth Vader. I think he knows Darth Vader's dead.
Yeah,
and he mentions. He mentions that there's only one ship that came, right? There wasn't 2.
Yeah.
So, because I think he thinks Luke might come with him.
Yeah.
Or with her. But anyway. It's
possible. We'll see.
Fun last episode. Hopefully.
I think we'll get some sort of unexpected reveal of some kind. That's been.
And I think that may be
in the MO of every season of The Mandalorian with Book of Boba Fett.
I think that'll end up being what Baylon either unleashes or finds, or I hope that's all it is anyway.
Yeah, but we shall see. Like you said, that's tomorrow, so we got not much time to wait. I don't know if I'll get to see it tomorrow night, but hopefully I will.
Well, one more sleep.
One more sleep.